Hey guys, Rilhon here, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to take a look at the Arabic class, which of course consisted of the Arabic, the Coptic, the Ionic, the Doric, the Belgic 2 and the Gaelic 2. So yeah, these were built only like 10 years after the first Gaelic and Belgic. So yeah, pretty interesting. We have the Ionic and Doric here. Ionic is the first of her name, as is the Doric. They both had ships later that were named as part of the Athene class and then the Regina class, respectively. And here is the Arabic, which had 3 ships. This is the first one. The second one was in the early 1900s, and then there was a German ship that was acquired by the White Star Line. Here is the Coptic, which there was only ever one Coptic. So yeah, let's get started with the tour. These were all pretty much the same with the exception of the last two, which were the most different ones. The Arabic, as I say Arabic, it's supposed to be Arabic, but I don't know. It's hard to change the way you say words, you know, after you've said it for long enough. But yeah, these are some of the last White Star Liners with like fully rigged with sails. You had the Coptic and the Runic that came after this, and the Teutonic and Majestic. No, did they? I think they might have had like some very, very light sail rigging, like these like aft or side sails, whatever they call, and also these ones. Coptic and Runic, I think, were the last ones to have these like large, like forward and aft facing sails. I don't really know the terms, but yeah, these were like some of the last ones of their kind. So it's gonna be weird stop building sails because I've done this for a while now. But yeah, anyway, we have the Arabic here. This is one of the first White Star Liners, maybe the first one to have a boot topping, as far as I know. That's very interesting. It's kind of like a layer of paint around the waterline they would add. I'm not sure why. Like Cunard would add a bright, vibrant red around the waterline, plus their very iconic white stripe, of course. But that was to make it look better. I'm not sure why they would have used this kind of beige, brownish color. I mean, that kind of makes it look a little bit worse in my opinion, but I don't know. It's cool, I guess, but whatever. I'm just rambling now. Let's get started. So here, up here is the promenade deck. They're laid out very similarly to the previous ships of the White Star Line. The Oceanic class comes to mind, with the deck houses here up top. But yeah, we can start with Saloon class here. Walk inside here, you have the staircases on the sides. This is like the Britannic and Germanic. Up here is the ladies' boudoir on this side, and here's the smoke room. Interior, like references, is very scant, so I've had to base this off of the other ships. So do keep that in mind. This leads down here to the upper deck. We have the saloon here, which we do have a little bit of information about. We know they had green sofas. I forget exactly. I think it was. I forget the wood types, but yeah, it's like dark and slightly lighter wood types, basically. I did. If we go down a step, we get to the cabins. I'm not doing deck by deck now, I don't know why, but yeah, let's do Saloon class first. So yeah, we have a ton of cabins here on the spar deck. And they look like this pretty much, kind of basic. And yeah, all the way back here. Got some skylights, and then we have, yeah, steerage through that door. Let's go back up. We can check out the wheelhouse, or I guess it's not really a wheelhouse, it's a chart room. They had the wheel and the what's it called, telemotors up here on the bridge instead. So I'm guessing they had like awning, so they could get shelter from rain and stuff. But yeah, no wheelhouse, sadly, on these ships. At least not when they were introduced. And then like behind here is the captain's cabin. Yeah, here's the single funnel deck house here. The what's it called? Ah, come on, engine casing, whatever, skylight. Yeah, God. We have some lifeboats here on these aft deck houses, and yeah, we have the 4 masts. It's the same configuration as most White Star liners of the time. Here is the turtleback. These, much like Britannic and Germanic, had turtlebacks or whalebacks, these kind of coverings over the forecastle deck and the poop deck or the stern deck, which was meant to like reduce the amount of water that would flood the bow basically as you would travel along in very stormy seas, which apparently worked well enough that they would continue doing them. So they did stop with them after a while. I think like Teutonic and Majestic might have been one of the last ones, because like after a certain point the ships got that large so that it wasn't really that much of a problem anymore, as far as I know. So they mostly just resorted to using these breakwaters that would kind of lead the water off the ships instead. That was the idea, at least. So yeah, let's go underneath here. We have the anchor gear in the very front. Then we have some entrances here for the crew. And it's down. Oh yeah, this is the steerage. I need to change that, fix that sign. Here's the crew. Quartermasters. And more general crew. I think petty officers we had here as well. Let's go up again. Oh yeah, here. This deck house we have the carpenter. We have an entranceway here for steerage. We have some wash places, lavatories, the lamp room, and then yeah, lavatories for the crew basically as well. Here is the deck house for the officers. So this is where they had their cabins and their mess where they ate. And this is how it... I'm not gonna say this is how it would have looked. We don't know exactly, but yeah. Base it off like ships of the time or ships a little bit later perhaps. Let's go through this main deck house again. So we have back here at the staircase. On this side we have a pantry where you would have prepared the food for the saloon. And that was of course cooked in the main galley, which is right behind it. On this side they would have cooked or baked stuff. On this side I'm not really sure. There's a small store. Oh yeah, let's go back to the staircase. On this side we have some lavatories for the gentlemen, while the ladies would have had bathrooms on the deck below. Further aft we have some entrances for the firemen, so they could access the boiler rooms for these doors on the sides and go all the way down into the boiler rooms. Here is the stewards' quarters, where they would have resided. In here as well. And then finally aft here is the surgery with the doctor's cabin. And here's an entrance for the firemen, or the engineers I mean. And here is the purser. Here is a small deck house, so like an entrance for the steerage again, here in the stern. And here is the galley for steerage. Aft here is an entrance again for steerage. So we have one here, and then one here. You also have a bunch of lavatories inside this deck house. And aft here we have the infectious hospital, or isolation wards. Butcher shop, you have prepared food, or the meat pretty much only. We have some vegetables here for some reason. And then we have some ice rooms. I believe they not only stored ice, but also like food or like this. It was kind of like refrigerators before they added like refrigerated cargo holds. That I think that was the case, but I'm not sure. Because Teutonic and Majestic, I believe, were the first ones to introduce refrigerated cargo holds, but I could be wrong. We have the steering gear house here. Steering gear house here. Tongue twisters as always. Here that would have control the rudder. And that's that deck. Let's go down the deck to... I think this was the main deck or the spar deck, I don't know. But yeah, it's basically a lot of... It's crew in the front, then the rest of it is pretty much just steerage. And of course again, the saloon class or first class cabins here. Aft of this area, interestingly, is a coal bunker. Because the Arabic class was meant to serve on the Pacific route, or the eastern route, which would go from, I believe, Liverpool to, what was it, Australia? At least in that direction. So she would have needed a lot of coal capacity. So they added this trimming space up here, so they could have coal. They added this trimming space on the deck below. Then they added, of course, the coal bunkers on both sides of the boiler room here. And then they added this small space, and there's a donkey boiler here that would have powered the winches and stuff. Over here is more coal bunkers, and then also forward of this forward coal bunker. I'm sorry guys, it's hard to see, but what you need to know, we have the boiler room here. There's a coal bunker adjacent to it, but then also through this door you have an additional coal bunker space with an additional trimming space above. So there's a lot of coal space, pretty much. So oh yeah, let's go up again. On this deck here we have the engineers and firemen's entrance. So we take this door. Here's where they had their little pantry and a bath and toilet. Leading down on this side we have the firemen, where they slept. This open kind of bunk situation. On this side we have the engineers. They have a mess and then some cabins look like this. And yeah, that is pretty much that. And then if we go aft, we have some steerage areas again. As always, you have the men in the bow, and then the families here in the middle, and then here you would have the single women. So yeah, that's the same layout as... I think that was a case for the longest time, like even into like the 20s or 30s even. I don't know. I think so at least. And then of course on the lowest decks we have cargo holds. Surprise, surprise, because it's a White Star liner and they transported a lot of cargo. So yeah. Coal bunkers again, and then we have the boiler rooms. I can show you again how this leads up. So we have the fiddly here, this up, we have the ladders. And you can go all the way up. You also have both sides of the boilers, at least down. And then through here you have the engine room. There's a singular one. There's one engine for the single propeller or screw. And I based this off the engines for the other ships I built so far. This isn't my expertise, as always, as you know. I've tried to kinda make the sort of make sense. You have a closed loop of water. You take the steam from the boilers, run it into the engines, and then that goes to the circulating pumps, which would then funnel the water, or it could condense it back into feed water, which would be fed into the boilers again. So you would have a closed loop pretty much. Does it make sense? I hope it makes sense. I'm not sure it makes sense to me, but you know what? It's better than nothing. So here we have more cargo holds in the stern. And that is pretty much it for the Arabic class. Let's mention real quick on how they were different. So the first two ships were of course very similar. Then they changed things up slight bit with the Ionic and Doric. They were, I think, around 10 meters longer. No, they were like 2.5 meters longer, not that much, but they had elaborate scroll work on the sterns, but the Arabic and the Coptic did not, so the last 4 ships in the class had that. I think that the decor stayed pretty much the same, although they had slightly different layouts in some areas. So yeah, the smoke room, they changed places, so the smoke room and the ladies' boudoir changed places. So on the Arabic and the Coptic, the smoke room was here, ladies' boudoir was here, but now it's switched. And there's also a staircase added here for some reason that leads down. I'm not sure why. I guess it was to make it more private. Who knows? Very weird little path here. You can't access this anymore through. There's a wall here instead of just having doors. Other than that, I think slight differences down here as well, and like with the cabins and stuff. But yeah, that's not really that interesting, I guess. Oh yeah. Around this time was the first time that they started to paint the turtle backs or the whale backs different colors. So they would paint them buff or white star buff, you know, this kind of yellowish color on the funnels. Before they would paint them orange, which was what they painted the masts. By now they painted them buff instead though. So yeah, that's pretty much the differences between Ionic and Doric. Then we have the final ships of the class, the Belgic and the Gaelic. And they were the most different. They were actually the shortest for some reason. They were shorter than the Arabic and Coptic even, so you can look at it like this. The Ionic and Doric, let's just use them as the base ships. You have the Arabic and Coptic, which were let's say like 3 meters shorter. Then the Belgic and Gaelic are like 5 meters shorter. Like, I don't know why they did this. I hope you understand, but yeah. Their interior decorations were a little bit different. The floor for the staircase is guesswork. It's based on, I think I based this off the, what was it? The Germanics 1890 refit, which was like 5 years after this, so or around 5 years after this. We have the saloon, which was a little bit more elaborate in decor, I think. So I updated that a bit. Oh yeah, we also have the public rooms up here. So the ladies' boudoir is different. They would have had like actual windows here now instead of just having portholes. Then on this side we have the smoke room, which had a completely different design. This is a design they would have used for the longest time, at least up until the Titanic. The Big Four had this style, the Oceanic had this style, or the Oceanic 2 I mean, the Arabic 2. Yeah, many more ships had this style of the White Star Line. But yeah, that is pretty much the main differences between the class here. So I do hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, now it's on to the Teutonic and Majestic. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video, so take care, bye bye.